All right, guys, 6 weeks in. I'm ready to change my clothes. I've been in the same outfit for 6 weeks, and it's about time to change this. Yeah. All right? So, we're doing good. Hope you've been tracking with us. Tonight, we're talking about how important it is to understand mission. And specifically, I want to talk to you guys about what we're going to call mission groups. We're not just going to meet together to read the Bible and think about discipleship, but we want to be doing some things with our time together. And so how we spend our time can really bring people together. To have a specific mission within your group is something that we really want to encourage and experiment with together. This is going to be a fun thing that we want you guys to do. So of course, when you're together, you're going to be in community and do life together. And we have found that when you have a mission or something that you're choosing to do, you can bring in people that you might not normally spend your time with. As we're becoming a new church, you're looking around and realizing, man, I wouldn't normally spend time with so-and-so or with so-and-so, but when you've had this common interest, this bigger picture, it can really bring people together. So we're excited to kind of do things in a little bit different way with what we're calling our mission groups.
Yeah, and so we're going to define mission groups for you just a little bit and talk about the different elements. And Jake mentioned the first one, which is community. And we talked to you back on week 1 about how important community is. The second thing that really makes a mission group is you're getting together and you're digging into God's Word together. You're studying and praying. And we talked, when we talked about being people driven by the gospel, this is what we were talking about. So as a group, you are going to get into the Bible together and you're going to study.
Yep. One of the cool things too, we talked about this last week, is how important it is to multiply. And so your group, we want to design with purpose to multiply. So the people in the room right now, this is not a split, this is not a negative thing, but with purpose to say, okay, in a year as a time frame, we're saying in a year from when your group starts, to think, okay, how can we multiply from here? To take some apprentice, some leadership, and say, let's split off into having 2 groups now and multiply our efforts and continue, because God's got a movement and He's going to grow in us and we want to be ready for that.
Absolutely.
So if you're thinking about multiplication before it even happens, we're doing the right thing. So in our groups and mission groups, it's very important to think about how is this going to look later when we multiply.
Yeah. So we talked about these groups they're about community, doing life together. They're studying together. They are multiplying. The fourth thing, the final thing, is mission groups have a mission point. They're going to be out in the community, and they're going to pick out this mission point. And let me define that real quick for you. A mission point is a place in the community, a location in the community, in which you go intentionally to create ponds. And you're going to do this as a group.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's huge. That's a great way to bring people together. So again, think intentionally of a location that you guys can pick together, influence some people, and this is going to be a great way to do it. We're kind of got some more to this we want you guys to think about. Man, Josh does a good job of kind of filling in where I missed, and so we're just trying to make sure you guys hear all this stuff. The information in front of you, going over these questions are important. But again, the mission point you pick is really important. We talked about it at the very beginning, well, really the second week, about how important it is to have a mindset of moving forward, of going. And so have that idea. That's big.
Well, and that's our mission, right? To go. And this is the way we're going to go. We want our small groups, our mission groups, to be the front door for people entering into our church community. You know? And I think a lot of times churches just assume, hey, people are going to show up on Sunday morning. But the reality is most people feel much more comfortable if they get to go and hang out at someone's house. And it's, not all the weird stuff that we might have on Sunday mornings, like singing and communion and all that stuff, but they get a comfortable entry into what the church is through a mission group.
Right.
And if you're out in the community and you're doing these things, it's going to happen. Your group's going to grow, and you're going to need to multiply because your group's going to get bigger and bigger. We believe these groups are so important because they're our way as a church that we can go and be on mission in our community together.
Yeah, this is exciting. One other way maybe to think about this too is that if we were all full-time missionaries and that was our plot in life, we would pick a location, we would invest in people, we would learn the language, we would adopt to who they are, and then bring the gospel into a regular relationship. And so when we think about living as missionaries in our communities and how that would change the way we do things, and so again, that would be very intentional. That would be very strategic, and that would have regularity to it. And so one of the things we want you to think about as you're deciding what that mission point might be for you is to think about having regularity in where you're going to go. There's a lot of great opportunities. Instead of doing mission work or event-based service projects, we want to build relationships with people. And so you do that over time. And so when you're thinking of different places and organizations and things you can do to serve your community, we want you to think about where can I build a continual and consistent relationship that you can be intentional. Because we're not doing this just because we want to make a park look nice or a school be healthier. Right. There's a bigger reason why, and I think you know what that's going to be.
Yeah, and just for example, okay, let's take this as an example. My group might be right near a school, and so we decide that school is going to be our mission point.
Yep.
And so we need to look for ways to constantly get into that school setting and to build relationships, to build influence. So we might do things like we might do like a back to school teacher gifts, and we might volunteer in classrooms or maybe volunteer in the library, or maybe we could be reading coaches in the school, but making sure that we over and over again enter into that location in our community, because
and listen, most schools, if they have people walk in and say they're ready and willing volunteers to help out in the school, they will find a place for you. So that's a great way to get in. And let me tell you, building a relationship with the teachers and the students and these people, it's going to be good.
But it might not be a school, you know. It might be a park. It might be any of the dozens of other locations that you make your mission point in this community. But we want to remind you, and Jake already said this, the point isn't just to go out and serve. You know, it's good to go out and let people see that the love of Christ in your life. But ultimately, the reason we serve, the reason we have these mission points is so that we can share the gospel with other people. We want to connect people to God's truth. And so tonight in your mission group, you're going to be talking about this idea of mission points, where you want your mission point to be, and how you can start to build relationships in that location. Go at it. Click. Boop.